Hey, everybody, welcome to the Black Filmmakers Matter podcast. And today we have the most beautiful, and I mean, she is beautiful, Morgan Whiteman, filmmaker extraordinaire, director. Thank you for joining us, Morgan.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, you're a director.
Yes, yes. I mean, I've done, of course, all the other things, but focusing mainly right now on directing and also writing.
Okay. Um, can you tell us why filmmaking? What was the pivotal moment when Morgan said, that's what I want to do?
Yeah, I mean, my family, we've always watched films when I was growing up. Even like the Titanic when it came out in Blockbuster. I guess I'm dating myself now. It came in like two different VHS, and you had to like switch the other one for the second half of the movie because it was so long. And we would always like analyze movies over dinner, and just always had a love and appreciation for one. But I guess I always thought that there was like something that essentially white men were able to do and make success out of. But then as I got older, I just kind of, realized like, why not me? So I decided to take that leap and do everything in my power to try to get to where I want to be. So just really like a leap of faith into something that I loved and thought that I could never actually be able to do.
Okay, awesome. And who influences you? What creators, directors, filmmakers do you like to watch?
Yeah, I really like, of course, Jordan Peele has been really great. Mia DaCosta with like Candyman, and I think she's doing another film 28 years later. That's the name of the film, not like 28 years from now. And then also M. Night Shyamalan, I've always really liked. He's People have mixed feelings about him, but I think I really appreciate that he is always creating something original.
Yeah.
It's not like a franchise or any significant adaptation, and he's been making films for decades, and even if it fails, he keeps going. So he's like my number one inspiration. So
I love him because
yeah,
he just does different work. And I
yeah,
think because we don't understand it, it's like, we don't understand it, it's bad. No,
yeah.
it's great having original work.
I agree.
So tell me about a project that's out now that's important to you. What do you have going on now?
I have quite a few things. I just finished a few like spec commercials. So I did three. I did one for Nike, PetSmart, and Revlon. So those were kind of nice to see how to get into the commercial space for directing. So I'm very proud of how those turned out. Um,
Okay.
and
Can
then
you repeat those three names so the young people know
yeah,
they can do?
um, yes, it was Nike, PetSmart, and Revlon.
All right, guys.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
those were fun. So yeah, I've been getting into a lot of commercials recently, especially because the industry is kind of in a little bumpy place. You just kind of have to figure out ways to pivot. So that's been fun. And then I have two projects in post that I was hired to direct within the last year or so. So those should be coming out hopefully by the end of this year. One is a pilot for like a dramedy series. The other one is like a short film drama. Um, and then I have another film that I completed as my thesis for graduate school. That's in the film festival circuit. Um, that might be it right now. And then, of course, I have things that I'm still making and other films that have had been released in the past.
Amazing. You
Yeah,
are amazing. You
thank
are
you.
well worth the wait, sister.
Thank you.
Guys, it was hard getting hold of her. She was ill and then I got sick and I finally got this lady. I'm so glad she had so much to teach us today. Your genre, what genre do you like working on the best?
Yeah, I think going along the lines with M. Night Shyamalan, I love science fiction, psychological drama, psychological thrillers. Yeah, anything that has like a twist at the end or like an underlying like deep societal message. That's kind of what I'm all about.
Okay. And what do you want your work? I want you to go into detail for me. What do you want your work to say to your audience? What do you want it to teach us?
Yeah, I mean, I want it to teach us, especially the films that I've always found impactful are the ones that kind of teach me the meaning of life in terms of like what life means to me and how I should live it. So that's what I want my films to do. I don't want them to have like a singular message. I want people to watch them and take from it what they need at that time. Kind of like, I guess, like going to church. Everyone goes and everyone takes a different message depending on what they need. So that's kind of what I want my films to be able to do, and just make people realize that they can achieve what they want to achieve, that they have the capacity to change the world, and also that the world can change from what it is. One of the big genres that I like to do is speculative fiction, which is essentially imagining the world as something different, but it's grounded in reality, but it just shows something different. So showing like, oh, okay, we can live in a world without racism, or we can live in a world without poverty, and showing people visually what that looks like, so that they can see like, okay, we can work towards this. Because if they can't see it, then they can't do it, and that's my goal.
Oh, wow, beautiful. And as not just a female filmmaker, a Black female filmmaker, what do you see we're missing in this industry? What do we need more of?
I think we just need more, or we're always going to need more diversity, and not only just diversity and like people of a certain race or background telling their stories, but also having the freedom to tell any story and just kind of putting their influence on it. I mean, Black stories have been told by white people for decades. So I think the reverse should be able to happen, and we can see what that lens looks like. So just kind of having the freedom to create just to create, and for people of all backgrounds to just, again, create something that is just there. It doesn't have to have necessarily a significant meaning or social agenda or message. It's just something that's creative and interesting and different, and just seeing more of that, so that it doesn't have to have like a whole dissertation behind it for it to be worthy of being made.
And what do you think, as a female, what do you think female filmmakers are bringing to the table in comparison to our male counterparts?
Yeah, I think we're bringing a lot. Just the, empathy, the task management, learning how to navigate into spaces in a way that benefits us and therefore the project. I think that women have to, of course, learn how to navigate the world to be able to stay safe and succeed and do all these things. They can't just like come in like a bull through a china shop and just get what they want. It doesn't really work that way. So I think that allows for film productions to be a lot safer and healthier, because it's not someone just kind of coming in again like a bull through a china shop just to make a project, and it doesn't matter who gets destroyed and hurt and any of that through the process. A woman is allowed to like care for the people involved and create something in a healthy environment and still get it done in a way that makes people feel safe and protected and valued.
Yeah. That's us. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that. Now you have a project that you already have a #1 fan here at DL. Can you say the name? The name is hard, and I've never heard the word before. I'm not ashamed to say that. I've never heard the word before. And tell us about the name and everything.
Yeah. So it's called apophinia. The name comes, so I'm a speech language pathologist in my background. So there's just a lot of different like language and processing disorders and phenomena that I'm familiar with. And apophinia is one of them, especially where someone is able to see patterns in things that there are no patterns that exist. So it's like, oh, if you see, how you see maybe 10 white cars in a parking lot, then someone might mean, oh, that means that I need to go buy a white car. Or they can maybe interpret that to say like, oh, that means that I need to just paint my whole house white because I was thinking of it being white. And yeah, it's just how you take something that had no meaning and putting your own meaning on it. So that's kind of how the title came to be.
See, we supposed to teach each other. If you don't know something, ask a question. No biggie.
Yeah. That's
I usually get you guys with this one. What's your worst set story? Like I have filmmakers tell me how people didn't show up, how things broke soon as they were going to shoot. What's your fun horror story for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think all films have something. I've lost plenty of locations the night before we're supposed to shoot, and then I have to figure out how, you know.
I never heard a lost location now.
Oh, I've had that at least probably 3 times, at least 3 or 4 times for 3 different projects, 3 or 4 different projects.
How did you maneuver? How did you?
Yeah. For that, especially well, it depends if I'm the writer or if I'm not the writer, but even so, I guess like if I'm not the writer still has to understand that we have to pivot the story in some way. So it's, setting the story in a different location. It's creating, like one time I lost a house and the only thing that we had was like a sound stage to create something out of, which is just like an empty warehouse essentially. So just creating house-like spaces with the materials that were there and just changing the shots so that it's tighter shots. And it's like, so we have a couch and we put a picture in the background and we just see that. And then now it feels like a living room, or like we put them behind a bar counter and have like a sink and a cup and maybe a cabinet in the back. And now it's a kitchen. So just really creating those spaces out of frames and not having to be able to rely on like the actual location that we were hoping to rely on. But that at this point is like a familiar familiar thing that I'm used to dealing with. So that's not really a horror story for me anymore. I also lost a mine for my thesis film. The film was called The Miners. We lost a mine. So we had to create a mine.
Okay.
That was difficult, but again, location losing is, I guess, something that I'm used to now. But I guess the one thing the horror story that I had was, I think for my second-ish film that I had a big crew for, and we were in an old house, and the like ceiling collapsed or like fell like onto the dinner table, and we were having like a dinner scene, and it like narrowly missed like the camera and the actors, and I mean, it obviously crashed everything that was on the table, but I think that was the biggest horror situation for us.
Wow, sis, I think you had the worst out of like 30 interviews. I think you got us. Sis. All I've been hearing is people not showing up. Yeah.
Oh,
you got it. Goodness. Okay, so you said sometimes you're the writer, sometimes you're not, right? Mm-hmm. That's even for your own projects?
I mean, for projects that I'm hired to do, I'm usually coming on as the director, but for my own projects, I'm typically the writer, yeah.
Okay. So your strength is you would rather direct than anything else?
Yeah, I think it's just, I guess I like how active being a director is, just being on set. When you're bored, you can go and shift to something else. Like if you don't want a storyboard, you can analyze a script. If you don't want to analyze a script, you can go and collaborate with the DP. But with writing, you're writing. And then if you're not writing, you should be writing. So it's just something that you have to kind of be alone and do. And it's like a very singular activity. And I just like having the flexibility to be able to move around and still make progress while doing different things. When with writing, you just need to be writing.
Okay. And can you give old filmmakers, new filmmakers, our babies, some advice of what to do and what not to do when you're starting out in filmmaking?
Yeah, I definitely say what to do is, find people in your local community who are also making films. That's what I did. I'm from Maryland, so I went out there and found people in the area that were making things, and from there, some experiences were more difficult than others, and a lot of times, it's not like a big film set where you have craft services and catering and like a 30-person crew. It might just be you when you sign up to direct it. Now you're the cinematographer and production designer, and you're probably getting the snacks and lighting everything and probably sound. So you're just doing everything. But that kind of teaches you every single role. It helps you learn from your mistakes in a really big way. I would also say that everyone should edit a project, especially one that they've written at some point,
Right.
because then that teaches you what does and what doesn't work, and how you can write things that are going to be able to be made by others and bought and things like that. And that's really, really important. I think that a lot of producers like knowing that writers and directors have had experience with editing.
Right. And what's a big no-no for you on set? What shouldn't they do?
Um, Definitely no egos, no attitude, no yelling. I think those are the big things, and just having empathy and understanding where people are coming from. Everybody has lives and goals and dreams outside of what they're all coming to be on set to help and do. So just being compassionate about people. And I guess a big no is to don't come onto set and not know what the story is. Especially if you're sent the script, read the script if you're coming onto set at any level. And if you're not sent the script, you can ask for it. That always shows someone that's really serious about their work. But at least read the log line or look up the people that you're working with too.
Thank you so much, Morgan. Morgan Whiteman, guys, Black Filmmakers
Matter.
Please come back.
I will.
Would love to have you back. I really would.
Of course.
My 19-year-old loves you. So thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Hold on for me for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That would be great. Okay. Thank you. Black Filmmakers Matter, everybody. Talk to you.